What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another predicted lineup for the big game against Leicester at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 5:30 kickoff tomorrow night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Very much looking forward to this one. A game which usually throws up quite a lot of goals. Antonio Conte has been making a few interesting statements in his press conference, but in terms of the injury news, what is that?
Yeah, just one injury, and that is Lucas Moura. He's still remaining out. He's got that information. But apart from that, full bill of health. There are players obviously still getting back to full fitness, but everyone is available for selection apart from Lucas.
All right, so let's get into the predicted lineup now. We're going to start with the 3-4-3 formation. In goal is obviously going to be Hugo Lloris.
Man of the match last time.
Exactly, man of the match last game, and hopefully he's not going to be called into as much action as he was last week.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Obviously, they're a very this season they've been quite an offensive side, Leicester, but hopefully our defence can stay strong and Lloris can not be as tested as he was. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's Lloris in goal. Right wing back is going to be an interesting one. He has mentioned that Emerson Royal is tired at the moment. Doherty's not ready just yet, so we're thinking Perisic could actually be playing right wing back.
Yeah, well, it was interesting because he said in his press conference that Perisic can play right or left. He kind of made a thing to say it, so I got a feeling that he made a point to say it because he's thinking about playing him in this game. He said Emerson is feeling a bit tired. Because he's played every game this season, and the wing back role is very demanding. He said Doherty still getting up to speed after getting a big injury, and still not quite up to speed yet. And then Spence, he didn't even mention Spence as a potential option. So we feel that Perisic might get the nod on the right this time.
Yeah, and it'll be very interesting to see how he does there, that's for sure. Moving on to the centre-back situation. On the right-hand side, we're going to go for Cuti Romero, who hasn't been his most commanding self recently.
Yeah, and he needs to improve that. He needs to get that anticipation and the aggression back at his game, which has been missing for the past couple of games. But I think it's just him getting over that injury he had, and hopefully he'll be back to his best as soon as possible. Yeah,
so Cuti Romero on the right. In the centre, we're going to go for Eric Dyer, as per usual, ever present so far this season.
Yeah, and he's back in the England squad, so very happy for him, and I think he deserves it. I'm just starting to get slightly concerned by a few moments that keep creeping into his game this season defensively. Maybe it's just a case of it only happens once or twice a game, but against Lisbon, again, diving in way too early, getting caught out, and nearly costing us a goal. Well, thankfully, Lloris made a good save from Edwards, but Dyer has nearly cost us a few times this season. But by and large, he's been okay, but a few times he tries to be aggressive and it doesn't come off, so he's just got to be a bit more careful with that.
And then to make up that back three, a toss-up between Davies and Longley, but we are actually going for Longley in this one. Davies started on Tuesday, so we're thinking Longley will come back in.
Yeah, I think so, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again. Davies was all right on Tuesday. He wasn't brilliant, but I think Longley's been well once he stepped in so far, so he's going to get the nod, we believe.
Yeah, and to make up that back five, seeing as we put Perisic over on the right, there is only one man that can play there, so it's Ryan Sessegnon.
Yeah, and he's played well this season so far when being called upon by and large, and it's going to be interesting to see if they both play, how much it changes our threat from wing backs. So hopefully we can have a bit more of a dual threat if that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm most looking forward to this weekend, to be honest, being able to attack from both sides successfully. So let's go through that back line with you guys one more time. So it's Hugo Lloris in goal, a back three of Romero, Dyer and Longley, Sessegnon at left wing back, Perisic at right wing back, and then moving on to the middle of the park, I'm going to talk about Rodrigo Bentancur in the middle, and yeah, I think he's performing pretty well at the moment.
Yeah, he was talking interestingly about Basuma in his press conference, Conte, saying that he still doesn't feel like he's tactically ready. And as long as that's the case, I think he's going to go with Bentancur and Højbjerg. He also mentioned Skip, saying that Ollie Skip is more tactically up to speed than Basuma, but physically still recovering from the injury, but he's getting there. Hopefully on after the international break, he said he's going to use him, Basuma, and I think, was it Spence? No, he didn't say Spence. He's going to use Doherty a lot more after the international break. But for now, we're going to keep with the pivot. And they've been performing well, but maybe past couple games, especially against Lisbon, weren't the best. But I still think they've had a good season so far.
Yeah, which obviously brings us on to his partner in Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Like you say, I think he's been really consistent. We've been singing praises a lot, but wasn't such a great performance out in Lisbon, so hopefully he can bounce back in this one.
Yeah, I think he's been probably if not our best player of the season so far. So I think that Højbjerg for sure starts, and he's a very, very important player, and we need him both going both ways as well. He's very important, so going to need him in this one.
So that's a Højbjerg and Bentancur double pivot. On the right-hand side, the right number 10, we're going to put Kulusevski back in the team, and I think the team has been missing Kulusevski the past 3 games. His physical ability up front, his creative ability up front is something that we have been missing. He's been really unlucky not to start any of those 3 games.
Yeah, and he's come on and made an impact as well when he hasn't been starting. So he's not moping around, hasn't let it affect him that he's not out the team. Ali Gold, it's interesting what Ali Gold said. He said everyone talks about rotation and resting, but when you don't start for 3 games in a row, that's not resting. That's just you being dropped. And do you feel that with Kulusevski?
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like that in some way, especially when you've got a player like Sonny who just wasn't performing as well as Kulusevski. So I feel it's been really harsh on Kulu the last 3 games not to start the games, but he has come on and made an impact, like you said, in every single game. So hopefully he gets back into the starting 11 tomorrow. Up front, obviously, we're going to stick with Harry Kane. Didn't have the best game out in Lisbon, but he's been scoring all the goals for us this season.
And he's got an amazing record against Leicester. That's his favourite opponent, isn't it? After I think there's Leicester than Arsenal. So he'll definitely be backing himself to get back on the score sheet again this weekend. And he'll be licking his lips looking at Leicester's defensive problems.
And last but not least, on the left-hand side, toss-up between Richarlison and Son. We're actually sticking with Son for this one.
Yeah, I think this represents a good opportunity for hopefully Son to get back on form and get back amongst the goals. Obviously, has not been anywhere near his best since the start of the season. I don't not to say he's been absolutely dreadful, but he just definitely isn't up to his usual standards. But we're thinking that Conte, with 1 game for the international break, I think he's just going to stick with him and then see how it goes from there. I still think he has the backing of Antonio. Yeah,
absolutely. And like you say, I think it's a really good opportunity against the Leicester side who have been shocking at the back. Son's definitely going to get a few chances in this game, and it's a really good opportunity for him to stick one away. And I think that once he does get one, the goals will rush in. So hopefully Sonny will get on the score sheet this weekend. But let's run through that lineup with you guys one more time. It's Hugo Lloris in goal. Romero, Dyer and Longley make up the back 3. Ivan Perisic on the right. Ryan Sessegnon on the left with Højbjerg and Bentancur in the double pivot. Kulusevski on the right, Sonny on the left and Kane up top. If this is the lineup, you sticking with the score prediction?
I said 3-0. I'm going to stick with 3-0, yeah. I'm hoping that... I don't think it's going to be plain sailing from minute 1, but I do think once we gain control of the game, I can see Leicester struggling to deal with us, and then all of a sudden us being able to find the gaps in their defence. So I'm going to go 3-0.
Yeah, I kind of had the same feeling with you, but I just feel like we will concede at some point during the game, so I'm going to go 3-1. I do feel Leicester will come out the traps quite strongly, but as soon as we get that goal, I think heads will drop and we can get a few past them. So I'm going 3-1. My brother's going 3-0. Let me know your score predictions in the comment section below. Let me know your predicted lineup as well in the comment section below. We'll see you all tomorrow. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.